I don't blame Cassidy for it, straight up, or his entourage. At the end of the day, there should have been enough time for everything to get situated in a timely fashion.
Now, I never did see no fire marshal, you know what I mean? So when he got on stage, I thought it was some BS. I thought, I'm like, this dude he's hating.
It's pretty chaotic. I don't even know if they got out their full first rounds, and Disaster was arguing with crowd members.
Everyone was scared.
I can't front, that was kind of exciting.
At that point, I think everyone was like, you know what? I'm done.
I kind of gave up by that point, and I just didn't care. I was just threw my hands up. I'm like, you know what? I'm out.
I don't even really think either of them really got a fair chance to really do their battle. There was just so much chaos from the crowd to the stage.
The moment that battle did not finish, everybody switched on me.
I think it was so disappointing. People were booing and upset and just kind of really, really, really frustrated.
People had traveled all the way across the world. Literally, people had come in from New Zealand and Lithuania and Amsterdam.
I think Alki was definitely overwhelmed. I don't think he had given it enough credit or had expected such a great, turnout.
It was so disappointing, that they didn't get to experience that battle that had been hyped up for so long. Us promising them that nothing was gonna go bad. Trust in me, trust in Lush One, trust in Fresh Coast Media Group, trust in our brand, and then letting people down.
I think the worst part probably was just maybe dealing with those fans that I wanted them to get to meet Disaster and Cassidy, you know what I mean? I wanted them to meet them. So I think just constantly being like, hey, just stick around, I promise this battle's gonna go down eventually, just give me a few minutes, and not disappointing them because they'd flown out so far.
We needed to have that battle finished or else really there was no show. That was the main event. Everything else was inconsequential.
I know I can get Cassidy to battle even though this gets shut down. I know if we can get Cassidy to do it, I know Disaster's gonna do it. Come on, man.
Dealing with Disaster, he's a little bee. I was texting him, I was calling him, I was like, we need to battle. Cassidy was ready to battle that night, and professionally it really bothered me that Diz was in his hotel hugging himself. He was supposedly in his hotel crying, I don't know.
Alki wanted the battle to get done. Cassidy and Diz needed the battle to get done or else they weren't gonna get paid. And I was gonna get decapitated like Henry VIII if that battle did not get completed.
During this time I was Skyping with Alki and we were talking about the actual battle with Cassidy and Disaster.
So I text Alki, Alki's like, let's do it in the garage, I film on.
When I got on the phone with Alki, I knew that he was like, oh wow, I'm glad I invested in this battle rap thing. And as hectic and chaotic as it was, he was like, Lush and them were right.
The day 2 battle had came about that night. People don't know that it was already in the works. It was a secret location.
Grant and Kashim were running around hustling to make it happen, talking to MK. There was a lot of obstacles.
So the next day, my executive producer said, yeah, just make it happen. Let's just do it really rough and raw in our company garage.
Just that fact alone was a huge disadvantage to Diz because then he has to perform to a small crowd, but all of his material is catered to a large crowd.
His strong point is performing in front of big crowds and being able to control the room.
I was just as excited about the next day as I was Saturday.
Alki was obviously monitoring it and overseeing it from overseas, and the garage was just swamped with people and it was just a hazard. The police were bound to come.
The tension was so thick in the air, I had actually told my girlfriend and her sister and her brother, I was like, look, y'all stand by the door just in case it pop off.
Unfortunately, Cassidy had more people, Disaster had more people, friends of friends, everyone showed up, and then we had to basically lie, and I had to go out there and say, hey, this battle's been canceled, thanks for coming, sorry. And we tried to get rid of people, and it took care of most of the people, but half the people didn't believe us. And so they hung around, hung out in the alley, and then Alki was like, you know what, screw it, let's just have this battle, and we did.
I have full confidence in Diz, and if you're the greatest battle rapper in the world, and you're that ill like I know dude is, you could overcome any obstacles and you're gonna shine no matter what environment you're in. It don't matter.
Cassidy definitely shone on day 2 the most, and I think Diz just let the pressure get to him.
They both came with it. They both had rebuttals for stuff that happened the day before, for stuff that happened earlier that day.
Cassidy, I think, surprised a lot of people. His material was way better than any mainstream rapper stepping into the format of battle rap had been by a large margin. Disaster still did the best he could, all things considered. A lot of people think he won. I think you can't really tell a winner due to all the odd circumstances. It's really hard to tell. Regardless, I don't care what anybody says. That battle's a dang classic.
I thought it was a classic battle.
Man, I had a blast.
I think Alki was happy with the turnout at the Belasco Theater, with the traffic he got from the pay-per-view, and the numbers that we generate over here at Fresh Coast with battle rap, with everything we do.
I think Alki was happy with the overall event, but I think on the day one, I don't think he would have been too happy.
Disaster was hot. His first verse, he killed it, but Cassidy came back just as hard and killed it too. I just don't think Diz was prepared for when Cassidy mocked his style. Disaster turned into a big Cassidy fan and just started jocking him in the middle of the battle. Cassidy had to have taken it.
I was a little worried for Lush after the Ether event. I was a little worried. I look at Lush as a friend, and at that time it was like we got really distant. We got really distant where we weren't talking at all. I couldn't get a hold of him, and every time I seen him, he was looking different, you know. He was looking stressed, he was faded.
And I just felt bad falling out of communication with him and everybody else at that time. I was just so overwhelmed.
I would hit events up in Beverly Hills and see Lush jewelried out, blinked out, minked up, faded as ever with the big shades on, and you know, I saw somebody who was my friend become, you know, a celebrity really.
The worst part of the event was probably the pressure of everyone being on edge from lack of payment.
People threatening his life. So I was like, this dude potentially can crumble. This is how people kill themselves. This is how celebs kill themselves. You know, this is how people OD. This is how people go down dark paths, sink into depression.
He always does his thing, and he does it right, straight up. People make these judgments and you know, these assumptions that he's a junkie and da-da-da, but he ends up winning at the end of the day.
I'm glad we got to finish the battle. The best part of the event was, you know, actually completing the battle and getting that acknowledgement. You know, industry professionals like DJ Vlad coming up to me and saying that's the best battle I've seen in my life.
When we doing the battle, just seeing the folks show love afterwards and before, it was like I said, it was the most magnetic moment in my battle rap career. So it was like, wow, all these people really feel what I just said. They're really affected by it. Like Mr. Fab, like I said, came up. Exhibit showed love. Crooked Eye showed love. Big C Style. Just to see cats that I grew up watching come back to me, like, that was hard. Like, that's dope, bro. Good job. You know, that meant something to me.
You know, it was amazing. It was an amazing experience, and I wouldn't change it for nothing. You know what I mean? Nothing.
You came out dope.
I actually got people offering music videos, beats, production, telling me to come to their studios, all off Ether, because they wanted to, you know, network with me.
Everything was amazing. I don't know if it was just like the rush that you get from it being a live event or just from seeing all the fans turn out. That was pretty cool.
I got a lot of positive feedback from it. People really actually had a great time.
I would host another event.
It was an amazing experience to get to see Young B, the future, at the event. Rest in paradise.
He had love and support from the people from the Fresh Coast, and I did get to chop it up with him the second day.
Young B should have been on the Ether card, 100%. And rest in paradise, though. You know, I feel his presence with us, and things are really going to a crazy new level for the Fresh Coast, for the entire West Coast battle scene, and I think Young B's spirit has a lot to do with that.